Hello and welcome to another Doing Stuff with Me beard. Today is a bit of a going out of my comfort zone type day. I am getting the train over to Nottingham to try a different climbing gym. So I've been indoor climbing. I've never done any outdoor stuff. I've been indoor climbing for a couple of years now, mostly at my local one in Lincoln, and I've been to Newark once. I've had friends recommend that I go try other places, so I've got the day off, it's midweek, let's go try somewhere else. So I'm going to go to the Nottingham Climbing Centre, short train ride away, quick tram, and then a 2-minute walk. So I've had friends recommend going to like the depot and stuff in Sheffield and some of the places in Sheffield, but it's a little bit more awkward. There's a couple of train rides involved, and I think if I'm out of my comfort zone, just doing a easy one with journeys is my best bet. So let's get going, shall we? That's not too bad, that one. I think that's about as easy as that 4, but I got my hands the wrong way around. Hello, and as you can tell, I'm no longer in Nottingham. I did record an outro, but the audio was terrible. The train noise in the background was too much for me to figure out how to filter out, so here I am at home. So, yeah, that was my day at Nottingham Climbing Centre. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely go back again. I was absolutely knackered. I was there for about 3 or 4 hours in the end. Plenty of breaks, but yeah, absolutely shattered by the end. Enjoyed having a bit of a go at bouldering, but I'm definitely not as confident with bouldering as I am normal climbing. Um, the it's the getting down more than anything, and also the fear of falling. Like, um, it's a bit of a meme, but I'm in my 40s. Um, you sneeze wrong and you put your back out, kind of thing. So falling from that height, some of those heights, it kind of just puts you off a little bit. And I did have a moment where my hip screamed at me when I dropped a bit too far. But I will definitely, if I go back, still give bouldering a little bit of a go, just as something to like try and do something different, a different style of climbing almost. But yeah, so if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one. Cheers!